Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. We've got a different type of video for you today. We're here on the Miro board and we're going to be looking at why I do cold email and AI automation together and why you should too. So before we get into it, I just want to do a bit of money maths for you, bringing you back to school. We're going to be looking at the different types of clients that are worth getting and which ones are not. Because a lot of people are scared to charge north of this $2,500 mark. And I really want to encourage you to not do anything less than this here. Because think about how many times you have to sell this product to get to this. Everyone wants to hit the 10 grand a month mark, right? If you're selling for $1,000 a pop, you have to sell 10 times, which is just horrible. Whereas you can sell this 4 times, 2 times, and even just once. Now, I went through the maths on this video here on TikTok yesterday, so if you want to go check that out. But I broke it down here just briefly for you as well. So if you send 500 cold emails a day at a 2% response rate, or 2% reply rate, that's 10 responses. Right? And if only 20% of those book meetings, that's 2 meetings a day. If only 10% of them sign for an average of $2,500 a month, that's over 10K a month. That's just how simple the maths is, but most people aren't willing to do the volume to get there. Now, if you're under 30K a month as a whole, you have a volume problem. You don't have an ads problem. You don't have a funnel problem. You have a volume problem. Always send more. And I just put some other brief maths for you here as well. But let's jump into the topic of today's video, which is why I'm doing cold email and AI automation together and why they're complementary and why you should consider doing them both. Now, these two systems or two services in one system. So most agencies are either an AI cold email agency or an AI automation agency. Workflows does both. Now, it was originally an AI automation agency, and now we've added cold email to the mix, and now we're more of a lead generation agency with cold email as an upsell, which we'll go through in a minute. Why to start with cold email. Now, this wasn't because we wanted a broader offering necessarily, but because they solve opposite ends of the problem, and they are actually really complementary. Doing one without the other leaves money on the table. So here are the problems of doing just cold email and just AI automation. So for cold email, you get you get conversation started, it fills the calendars, and you get qualified leads booked in its calls, which is great, but it stops the conversation at the door because the back-end processes are still manual and inefficient. And the ceiling isn't with the campaign, it's the capacity to handle it that produces the chaos. So if you keep adding more leads and the back-end system keeps getting cogged up, chaos is created. And hence, that'll reflect badly on you. And then the business owner will be like, oh, my business is crashing and burning. It's like, yeah, dude, I'm giving you more leads than you can handle. Oh, wait, I've got a solution to help you. So that's where you pitch the upsell if they don't have a sufficient back-end solution, right? And if you only do AI automation, it replaces manual processes, frees up time, and scales without scaling headcount, which is fantastic. But that assumes that there's already enough business coming in to justify that. Now, automation without traffic, you're optimizing for an empty room, which obviously is useless. But broken acquisition process needs clients first, not better systems, which is why the two work so well together. So, cold email brings in the clients, but the automation keeps the business from drowning once they arrive. So for Workflow's case, it's sequential. The cold email campaigns identify and converts new clients. The AI automation handles the back-end processes that would require manual admin as the client base grows. Now, the two services aren't competing for budget because they're sequential faces of the same growth problem. And there's also a compounding effect, interestingly enough. A business running efficient automated systems can scale quickly when cold email produces results because the infrastructure to handle the growth already exists. Similarly, a business generating consistent leads through cold email has clear reason to invest in automation because now there's volume worth systematizing. So let's look at what this looks like in practice. Let's take the landscaping company we've been talking about on the channel very recently. We started with AI automation for their 4 backend processes, but they also had a client acquisition problem because they were doing proposals manually, maintenance schedules manually, which needed a consistent pipeline of new work. Cold email is now the natural next step now that the backend runs efficiently. Now, conversely, if the backend is manual, cold email will hit a ceiling very quickly. Businesses that scale smoothly have both sides working in unison and in harmony, acquisition and operations together. They're like best friends. Now, the positioning advantage. Now, if you just offer cold email, you're like every Joe Schmo B2B agency out there. Everyone offers cold email. And so that shifts the conversation away from value to about price, volume, and reply rates. Now, if you offer both cold email and AI automation, that completely changes the conversation towards a growth system, which now you're talking about value. So it shifts to from where you are now to where do you want to be to what's blocking you. And now you're operating as more of a consultant as opposed to let me help you get more leads. Right? Now it's harder to commoditize because you're thinking about the whole business, not just one individual tactic. Now, the client profile changes too. The clients who understand they need both are obviously better clients. They have a longer time horizon. They're investing systematically versus looking for a quick fix. Now, also understand that those results compound over time. Now, if you have two clients, the single service try it for a month guy versus the client who wants a more sustainable system, obviously the latter is more valuable and often more patient and produces better case studies. It's not even close. Now, why this matters right now. Now, AI automation is generally underserved in the trades businesses specifically and in the small business market. Now, most businesses like construction, like landscaping, like property management, particularly those brick and mortar type businesses, are still running in the early 2000s. They're not being approached by automation agencies because they target SaaS and marketing companies, right? Cold email is still one of the highest ROI B2B acquisition channels, provided you send enough volume. Now, you've positioned yourself where the demand still exists, the competition is limited because no one's targeting these guys, and the services generally reinforce each other. So, what this means for you: specialization at scale has advantages, but in the early stages, solving multiple problems in the same conversation has a meaningful edge. Now, for workflows, the combination is not a diversification, it's recognizing the adjacent problems for the same client. Solving both problems produces better outcomes than solving one, because now you get a client who will rave about you not only to their friends and other B2B business owners, but also a killer case study is coming because you can break it up. Then you've got a cold email acquisition case study. Then you've got an AI automation backend case study as well. If you go watch the video I posted on the channel yesterday, literally titled How I Replaced an $80,000 a Year Admin Role, which is basically what two automations in that set of four for that landscaping company did. Two automations for 80 grand a year in salary. And those businesses are everywhere, not just for that specific company. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any new videos, and I look forward to seeing you in tomorrow's video.